And here we go. We are live with podcast number 7. Here we are. So I just took a nap. Robert sent me a DM like, I'm ready to go. I was like, I'm not, man.
It's time. It's
Give me
go
5 minutes.
Waking up out of your beauty sleep, right? So I have a pretty cool topic, I think, that I want to discuss today. And I really wanted to talk about phones. I want to talk about, like, how addicting they are, man. Like, you know, we talk about food, we talk about alcohol, and, man, these phones, I don't know. I think they're taking the cake for, like, one of the most addictive things we have in our possession today. What do you think?
I think so too. And if you have seen The Social Dilemma, this is especially for the younger generation that's just attached to their screen all day long.
Yeah, dude, like, I find myself slipping a lot. And, like, recently, I mean, you and I have been talking a lot about it, but, like, I got to put my phone away every day now, you know, just give myself breaks because, like, I'm starting to understand, like, it's zapping my energy, first of all. Like, that's the number one thing it does is, like, it makes me tired because, like, I'm on this thing and, like, I think it may be, like, the dopamine and whatnot is hitting you as you're, you know, getting a flood of all these things you want to see. But, like, I get done with it, man, and I'm like, oh, I feel super tired, you know, feel drained. And I don't know what that is, man. Like, I've been trying to, like, think about, like, why it makes me so tired. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. For me, it's especially, I don't want to sound above anybody, but especially when you go through Facebook, I just get tired by these dumb people that if you read the comments, they're like, I am out. I'm going to put this app away. I'm not going to scroll for, I don't know, a week. I'm going to not open this app.
Yeah, man, I think you're right, dude. Yeah, it's the pure ignorance. Like, that right there, it zaps me. Like, I just sent you a video today where I'm like, I'm completely done with social media. I just want to quit today and never get back on. It made me feel that way. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that a tool this amazing could do that to you, you know? I think, too, like, at least for me, like, when I see those videos, like, I'm going to just skip past them now and not worry about them. They call it, like, post and drop. Like, you post your stuff and then drop it. Don't worry about the comments and all that stuff. But stuff still affects you, you know? Like, especially today, man, when I saw that, I'm like, first of all, I felt, and I guess we could say a little bit of what it was. It was a person that was kind of delusional about what food does to them. And we're basically separating it by race and somehow saying that, like, you know, white people eating a certain way and black people eating a certain way would be affected differently. And it's just simply not true. Like, we're all like...
And same with men and women. She had, like, an excuse why she was obese. I was like, what are you even saying?
Yeah, it's just crazy. And, like, the unfortunate part about that, man, is, like, you convinced yourself of this lie, which is actually going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt nobody else. Like, you might be putting misinformation out there. And for me, I'm like, most smart people are just going to, you know, skip past. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
but
it's,
like,
just justifying her behavior.
Yeah, exactly. And she's going to suffer for that lie to herself. You know what I mean? Like, she may, face the facts here. If you have an excess amount of fat in your body, like, this is damaging. It's bad for you. It's very, very bad. And that's the real facts. It's not like digging at anybody. It's just the facts. And so if you're going to live, you know, in a weight that is like double what you should be, I mean, this is going to probably cut years off your life, don't you think? So you're going to pay that price, nobody else.
Yeah, totally right. And especially to put that on the internet.
Yeah,
And the second thing as well, you're talking about the ignorance, also a bit of the negativity, but in some way you can choose who you follow. So I don't follow anybody that spreads negativity. I rather follow Gary Vee, those people that get my day started when I look at them. And it's also maybe the need to respond to everybody that's addicted. When I open up my phone in the morning, I put on my internet and I get like 100 notifications. I don't know, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything. So you want to respond immediately, but you kind of have to put that away. Like, I will respond in a few hours or even tomorrow. Like, that's fine. But that may be addictive as well. So that's the hard part, maybe.
I love how you brought that up, man, because actually that part gets to me too. And especially a person that's kind of popular and has a lot of interaction, that stuff will completely cloud your mind. You get super addicted to it. And so I agree with you completely. Like, just do it at your own pace. You don't have to answer back all at once. And, Don't let it like completely hold all the real estate in your mind, because like, I mean, you got other shit going on in your life, I'm sure, so like if you're feeling overwhelmed with all these people trying to get in contact with you, just piece it up. I like that a lot. I do the same thing.
Yeah, and even though it can be addictive, it can also be a beautiful thing. We've met through our phones and the internet. So I try to focus on that and not focus too much on all the bullshit it brings. And I just make rules with myself. When I'm with family or friends, I just put my phone away. I just don't look on it because I want to be with them and not worrying about other people out there. Like, you will get your turn. So especially when I'm with people or when I go to bed, I put my phone away. But during the day, it's okay to look on your phone, of course. But if you do it constantly or get you distracted from your work, maybe you should have a break more often.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. And I love the idea of putting your phone away when you're with family or friends. I mean, I would even say like just going out or whatever. If you're just doing like just the regular dinner with your family every night, just put your phone away. Be in that moment. Don't miss these moments. You don't get them again. They go away. And like these phones are taking those moments from us. I completely agree, because there's definitely a lot of positives. You and I met, and I learned a lot from a lot of good people and a lot of smart people on the internet. And so like I focus on those as well. What I've noticed is, at least for me, and I'm going to ask you this question and see if this is happening to you as well. TikTok, I'm going to kind of attack that one. This is like, I mean, I post nothing but positive stuff and like really like what I want for my life. And so somehow, man, like in my algorithm of TikTok, I keep getting these videos and they just keep popping up, and I'll skip past them. I don't pay them any mind. Like, actually, I think this is the only one I've ever sent you. And they just keep coming. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I don't want to see this stuff. So I don't know if they're like forcing it, down my throat to maybe outrage me or something, or get more interaction out of me. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to figure that out.
You're still sharing it with me though. So maybe the algorithm sees like, hey, he may thinks it's bullshit or negative, but we're still talking about it. So
true.
Even at this moment.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a coincidence. I'm not sure.
No.
I know with the TikTok algorithm, or basically with all the algorithms, they screen your time on how much time you spend on the video. Do you like it? Do you comment? Do you click away? Do you come back? Do you pause it? They measure all this stuff, and then with all that knowledge combined, they will push a video that's similar or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Even if I did it like one time, like for example, would be today, right? They're going to take that and be like, well, he was interested in this one, so we're going to send him a couple more, see if he's interested. And then now that gets me outraged or whatever, like it's, and that's not their intention, obviously. Like, it's just based on what I'm doing with that. They don't know if I hate it or not. I'm just sharing it with you. So they know that. They know I viewed it a couple of times. So I might like another one that's like that.
And just with opening your TikTok, you can see what you're interested in. A friend of mine today actually told me, I have a friend, when he opens his TikTok, all I see is beautiful women. I was like, yeah, that's all he watches and likes on TikTok then.
Right, absolutely. And that's typically the case for most social media accounts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it can be addictive. You get that dopamine kick, of course. Actually, I recommend doing dopamine fasting for a week for everybody. Meaning no sex, no phone. Or you can have your phone, but only for the cases like for work, or if you really want to talk to someone, but don't scroll on the internet. No sugar, no alcohol, no other drugs, no dopamine kicks at all. You're going to feel amazing. So much energy. It's crazy.
I love that, man. It's great advice. It's super good advice. And I will say the no dopamine fast, or however you want to call it, is super hard. It's probably one of the hardest ones. It is the hardest one, in my opinion. It's like super, super hard, especially sugar. Like, people won't even try to cut sugar out for a day. Just try. Like, your body goes into convulsions. It's like, I need some sugar. I need some sugar. Like, it's super, super addicting. And talk about phones. Like, sugar is like hand in hand almost. So yeah, man, that's great advice, man. I really, really like that a lot. I was thinking about like what you're just saying there, and talking about like looks, for example, or somebody and it's not necessarily a person that just likes women or whatever, but like going into like the fitness part of it, what I see a lot, dude, is like I'll get online and like you got these like fitness gurus or whatever. These guys that just look super shredded and big dudes, and they're like, oh, I take this protein, or I do this pill, and this is like how I got this big, and most of it's like complete crap. Like they're just getting sponsored by that company. Like when I see that, man, like I'm like, this is totally distorting the minds of most people. You know, they think that they got to buy this product to look like that. And like when I see that on the internet, man, that breaks my heart the most. I think like we're setting people up to fail over and over and over.
And that body can even be presented as a goal, even though it may be real for that one person, but it's not realistic for most of us. So we're talking about following people. Do you follow fitness people that inspire you, or do you follow fitness people that you're like, oh fuck, like I'm not happy with my body, I want to reach that? If that is the case, you might want to unfollow and just follow the people that give advice about training or get you motivated in the morning, instead of looking up to them. You're like, oh shit, I'm not going to reach this.
Yeah, it's so true, right? And like, I think you could pick apart those people based on like their accomplishments. At least that's what I do. You know, like for me, for example, like I want to learn how to. I'm getting my mobility and flexibility back, so I'm going to go look for the people that have like did a lot in that arena. You know what I mean? That have like accomplished a lot. And so instead of just like Googling just some random person that looks good and being like, oh, I'm going to trust in this person because they look that way, I'm going to go and look at like what they've actually accomplished. You know, and like did they actually spend 8 years of learning it themselves, or did they just jump on after because they look good and now I could do this? Because that's what I see a lot, man. I don't feel like people are experts anymore. I just feel like they look good, so they think they could teach it.
Yeah, that's the case with a lot of brands as well. Mm-hmm. You see brands of Gymshark or whatever. It's not for everybody, but for a lot of them, I think you look fit and you look great, but what do you do in the sports itself? Probably not a lot, just your appearance that draws people in social media.
Yeah, it would always make me raise the question of like, if you look at athletes, not all of them look like this action figure. You know what I mean? There's some of them out there that just look like an average person, but are like the top of their class, you know?
It's the same with CrossFitters. Like Patrick Vellner, I was laughing my ass off when he said this. I was like, oh, I was always the one guy that walked in and everybody's like, wait, you compete in the CrossFit Games? I was like this small, skinny guy who didn't fit in. But hey, it happens. It's just genetics.
It does, man. And like, I think too, it's like heart. Like I've seen it so many times in fighters. Like fighters are the best example for me because like most of them are skinny. They're just super skinny people. You know what I mean? And like, especially if you see them face to face, like it's like, oh man, you're pretty skinny to be a fighter. Like you'd be surprised what that person could do. Like it has nothing to do with the looks. It's the heart. Like this person doesn't give up. And so, the looks doesn't reflect that. Like you can't see the heart.
True. And maximum power and speed doesn't evolve in muscles. So the strongest person doesn't look like a bodybuilder, and a bodybuilder isn't the strongest person. It's because you say this always, you need go muscle, not show muscle. Mm-hmm. The way you train your muscle is also the way you're going to look. So if you do a lot of explosive stuff, you have Chinese women that are 55 kilo and they clean and jerk 110 kilos. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They want to stay light, but they are so explosive and so strong. And that's with fighters as well, especially in that weight class. You don't want to get all big and buffy, and it doesn't make any sense. It was the same with the Antia Joshua. His coach said, you're looking like a CrossFitter, like slow it down with the weights and start focus on the boxing again. And then he lost a bunch of weight before his competition again.
It's true. I mean, you and I know, first of all, muscle requires a lot more oxygen. So it's super hard to do these like high endurance competitions when you got a bunch of muscle on your body. But how cool is this example, man, when you think about it? Like, okay, you got bodybuilders. And like you just look at them, it looks like they could just run through walls. These dudes are just massive, right? None of them compete in strength sports. None of them. I shouldn't say none of them, but like you don't see a Ronnie Coleman competing in a powerlifting competition. And that was a horrible example though, because he did compete in a lot of competitions. But yeah, it was a horrible example. He was like a decorated powerlifter, but like you don't see that often. He's kind of the exception of the rule. Like most of them just do isolations and just build muscle. Like this is a whole different world. And most people think that like We could take Ronnie Coleman and then put him up next to Eddie Hall and be like, who's going to win? Like Ronnie Coleman in his like prime, dude was just monstrous. We would pick Ronnie Coleman 10 times out of 10 to win that strength competition. And Eddie Hall is going to demolish him. And
yeah, man.
And that's the thing is like we get like caught in these rose-colored glasses. We think that fitness and even the internet like looks like make up the person, but they don't at all. In fact, like most of the time, it's like the opposite. Like like it's this super deceiving, is it not? Just everything is in life.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. What's that?
And once you
Go ahead.
what?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Once you get more interested in the sport, you will know the difference. Just by the way someone is built, I can see what sport that person does. I couldn't in the day, but now because I'm doing CrossFit and interested in powerlifting and weightlifting and gymnastics, you can pick any body type and just say you do that sport probably. Same with fighters.
100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. I have that ability too. And like, body types and all that. Like you could pick apart all this stuff when you get into it and get to know it.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing you said about the fighters, you have some heavyweight fighters in the heavyweight class though, and you can see that in the rounds. They get drowned fast because they don't have the energy to complete 4 or 5. I don't know how many rounds, but like you said, muscle needs more oxygen. But the person that does that real well is actually a Dutch kickboxer, Rico Verhoeven. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah.
He's humongous. He's fucking big, bro.
I know he's
but
tall.
He gets better.
How much does he weigh? I know he's super tall.
I can just look it up. Give me a sec. No, but he gets better during the fight. You're like, how is this even possible? With your weight, with your height? Let me check. He is 196 in centimeters. That's like 6'2", 3, maybe 6'3", and he is 118 kilos, which is something like 275 in pounds.
It's a massive man. It's a massive man.
But his cardio is intense.
You know what makes me think, dude? I wonder if he does breathing techniques. I'm not even kidding you.
Good question.
Yeah, because like
I know.
Well, in fighting, dude, like, and you know this, I've told you that, like, I've met people where it's like, you have freakish cardio. Like, what do you do for your cardio? And they're like, deep breathing. All of them said that to me. I'm like, what? You don't run or anything? Nope. Just deep breathing.
Overheim?
Oh, yeah. Alistair?
He's Dutch as well. He worked with Wim Hof, actually, a few years back to work on breathing stuff. So I know he does. I don't know about Rico, but...
Yeah, I think I remember that story of Alistair Overeem doing that. And man, what an incredible athlete he is, huh? That dude is something else, man. And like, he's probably one of the if you go back to his Pride days, I mean, he was fighting for 2 15-minute rounds. And if anybody has done a round, like a 2.5-minute round, try going 15 minutes and then doing it again. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. I mean, most people couldn't even last. But and then you imagine Alistair Overeem, which I believe is 6'7", at like 250, like probably 6% body fat. The dude is just stacked muscle. I mean, specimen of a human, and could go that long. Like, yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think deep breathing has a lot to do with it. Whenever I hear those stories, I'm like, this person has freakish cardio. They do. It's not running. It's always deep breathing. It usually is, anyways.
I underestimated the boxing with the cardio. I was like, with CrossFit, I have a good cardio, so I can keep my hands up for a long time. I can throw punches. But I didn't take into account that taking a punch takes so much oxygen and energy out of you. I didn't have that in the equation, and I fucking died after 30 minutes. I was like, I underestimated this.
Yeah, the thing I never could get over is like when I'd get pinned and people would just tee off on me, especially with boxing gloves. Like, it rattles your mind. So like you can't think afterwards. And I think you're exactly right. It zaps your cardio, and then you can't focus. So you're dealing with a double whammy here, and like you got to learn to recover quick. That's muscle memory. It just comes after years and years of like learning to deal with that. That is a crazy thing to think about.
What I had with the boxing, I told you, I did the sparring. I didn't get a hard blow to my head, just a normal one. But the next fucking day, I had a headache, man. I was like, Jesus, is this normal? And then I was comparing it to the athletes that go into the ring. I'm like, how can you even last shot to the heads like this every time?
Yeah, I don't know how. That's the one thing that derailed me. That's like, to be blatantly honest, that was the one thing where I'm like, I got knocked out one time, and I just never recovered right from there. Like my brain would shut off every time I got hit, and so like I would deal with that focus problem. And I'm with you 100%, man. Like the hardest thing to deal with was like to get through those punches. Like people don't account for that. Like we're all training, we're learning the movements and learning the proper form and whatnot. But once you get in there and get punched, everything changes. It all goes out the window. You're like, what the hell is that? That hurt so bad. Now all you can think about is not taking another one of those. Then you just took another one to the other side. Fuck. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. Yeah.
That's the Mike Tyson quote, right? Everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face.
Yep. And it's so true. It is so true. Like I know I've went in a bunch of sparring matches. Like I'm going to just take this dude's head off, and then got punched. And it was like just pure survival after that. Like, fuck, I just don't want to get hit again. Like this guy's taking my head off. Like I wasn't supposed to do this to you, you know, and it does. It messes with your head more than anything.
I got to sneeze, but it's stuck. I think it will come in a minute. I know. Have you seen a Mike Tyson fight against what's his name, Jones Jr.?
Yeah, like to be honest, like when I saw that thing, when I saw it going down, man, I really wasn't like all that interested. Like I have a whole theory about older fighters, and like they really shouldn't be doing that to themselves anymore. We just kind of went over getting punched in the face. It is not good, not good for you. And those guys, the age they are, like the accomplishments and you know things that they've already done with their life. Like in my opinion, it shouldn't have happened. But like watching the fight, like kudos to them for sure. I think they at least getting in there was a cool thing to witness. I know Roy Jones Jr. from like his heyday. He was my favorite boxer of all time. I've always said he was better than Tyson. It didn't prove it this time around. Tyson definitely got the best of him. But like, I wish we could have seen him in their heyday. Like this time around, man.
Yeah,
I just,
it would be crazy.
I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it. So
for me, it was especially cool to see the transformation of Mike Tyson. He was this egotistic, driven, coke sniffing boxer, basically, that could never reflect, and he bit someone's ear off. But now seeing him in the ring afterwards, he was just giving a hug, you know, when he hit after the bell. So he changed a lot. That was really cool.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like Mike Tyson to me is like a massive model of how to change, like a person that could completely change your life. Like he was one dude and then now completely different. And he's like super humble, compassionate, loving. I mean, I've listened to so many podcasts from him now where I'm just like, this guy floors me. I cannot believe you went from this to that, you know? So cool to witness.
It was in a Joe Rogan podcast where Jamie pulled up a photo with Mike Tyson standing in his boxers with his tiger on a chain. And Joe Rogan was like, this is the most crazy period of your life, right? And Mike Tyson was, yeah, it was. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, as a young, you could imagine a person like in his shoes, like so young, no experience in the world, no guidance. Nobody really was helping him, you know, get through those periods in his life. And coming from the background that he came from, like he lived a life, man. Like when I hear about his childhood, I'm like, oh man, I understand. I understand why you are the way you are.
Yeah, man.
And so, yeah, to like know that he was that person, you know, and dealing with that, like I sympathize with it, you know, because like I just know that he had like zero guidance, and like all of a sudden you have hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, what would you do, right?
Yep, and it resolved through a psychedelic experience, which is cool as well. He's really open about that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I said the one experience changed my life forever, and you can still see it. I was like, you can change behind the scenes, but I wanted to see it in the ring. But in the ring, he was the same. I was like, then he really changed. And did he go back to the ego and the aggressive person? He was, you know, still really respecting in the ring. Also afterwards, shaking his hand and like really thanking him for the fight. I was like, he changed for good.
Yeah, he did, man. Yeah, like it's definitely a testament. Like he got back into his old self, the aggressive side. You know, like you obviously got to go in there with the mindset of like taking the person's head off. He was able to do that and still stay humble. Like that's definitely a testament to him actually completely healing himself, which is amazing, truly amazing. We all know who he used to be, you know, so to change like that is incredible.
You know who the funniest fighter ever is?
Who's that?
Muhammad Ali.
Oh man, love that dude. Love that dude.
Watching his videos cracks me up.
Yeah.
It's like loading up his arm to punch, in the ring. He's like, ugh.
Yeah, just having
We're at
fun.
this bald-headed opponent, and in the stare down, he went over his head, and then during the fight, he was like fighting, and then rubbed them over his head. He didn't care at all.
Yep.
Or before the fight, he will already take the trophy and put it in his corner, and then everybody started booing, and he was like fake crying and all that stuff. It's like it was funny.
He's like not just a boxer; he's an entertainer. See, we put those two together. Like, to me, I'm like, I love watching that too, man. Like, it's really cool because they're giving you two shows, And I think also, above all, he's just like the Conor McGregor, Like, they just don't care. They don't care about what the world says or what anybody says about him. I'm me. I'm here to have fun, And I love that. There's just something about that, right?
It's crazy, and there's a difference though between the new generation, people that are entertaining, and the old generation. With Muhammad Ali, he was funny. He respected his opponent. He respected the game. Even though he was a bit cocky sometimes, already putting the trophy there, he was still respecting to everybody in the room. So the referee, the audience, the opponent. But now with Conor, they get so aggressive. I have the feeling there's no respect at all, like throwing chairs through window buses and hurting your opponent. I was like, that's a step too far. You can be that person that doesn't care about anybody. Okay, that's fine, but don't do this. Like, what the hell?
No, you're right. Actually, that's the difference between them. Although they have a lot of similarities, the biggest difference is, I think, one's humble and one's ego. Muhammad Ali's obviously the humble one. Conor McGregor, full of ego. It got him to where he is today. And
true.
So I can't.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't take that from him. But I know that, like, in time, that mindset derails you. Like, he's going to eventually, like, it's going to hurt him. It's not going to, it only works for so long, And so be humble, treat people nice, do the right thing. Good things will come back to you. I truly believe that.
It's kind of a waste as well. A lot of fighters, not especially in a UFC or MMA, but with boxing and kickboxing, they are really humble and respecting people. So often people that don't watch the sport, they have this, how do you say that? Prejudice about those people being aggressive or weird or whatever, but they're actually really good people. And then you have someone like Hunter or aggressive person in MMA, and they screw it up for everybody, which is the annoying part.
Yeah, most people wouldn't even be able to wrap their head around the fact that most fighters are like beyond the nicest people on earth. They don't even like fighting. Most of them don't like fighting. It's just a sport that they have their heart in, but they don't like hurting people. And so that was like the most interesting thing for me is like when I would meet like these just people that were like, I would idolize and just be like, man, you were just a tough son of a bitch. And then get to know them and you're not like what I would think you are. When you watch them in a ring, you just think they're these super aggressive, just want to hurt people all the time. But reality, they're not at all. It's the exact opposite.
But in a way, it makes sense because you have to control your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you get hit, you're going to get angry. You have to stay composed and wait your turn for the hit. So that translates to daily life. And especially in the Asian culture, when you have masters of Kung Fu or Tai Chi or whatever, they take it even a step further. They're so controlled and so well-spoken and easygoing. Even with talking, they think before they speak out. And you can see that in their fighting as well. So that translates to daily life.
Yeah, it does. And that's what makes fighters so unique to me right there. You're picking on the exact thing that the reason why I gravitated towards it, because they make a big part of their training your mind. You got to start to, you're your own opponent. You have to beat yourself. And when you're getting into the ring, you're not fighting the person across you. You're fighting yourself. You're trying to win that fear of being in there. You're trying to win that fear of being punched. You're trying to win that fear of losing. All these things are going through your head, and you got to beat that, not beat the person in front of you. And when I started to understand, like, that's how they think, I'm like, oh, that's everything in life. Literally everything in life is you beating yourself, and like getting up and coming to do this podcast, you had to beat yourself, right? Like, I'm not going to stay in bed. I'm going to get up and come to the podcast. It's you beating yourself. Without this tool in life, you're going to stay in bed, right? So that's what's cool about it.
Yeah. I was laying real comfy though.
You're like that. I'm still sleeping right now.
I also saw the story. I was like half dead, and you posted like, "I'm ready for the podcast." I was like, "Dude, give me a few minutes, man."
What's funny is I'll say this too. Like I'm trying to call Bazes like 20 freaking times. Like I don't know what's going on with our internet or something's going on, and so I'm calling him. I got the right number. Call him, and then someone finally answers, and it's his dad. I've never spoke to his dad before, but his dad's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "I really like your podcast." I was like, "Thank you very much. I'm sorry to bother you." I was like, "I'm trying to find Baze. Is he around?" And he was like, no, he's not here. I was like, "I really like your podcast." So it was cool to at least have a conversation with your dad. I never met him, didn't expect that, but yeah. What an experience to start this podcast.
Yeah, funny shit.
Dude, go ahead.
To touch on the. You have to beat yourself and not your opponent. It's the same with every world record in the world, because every world record is amazing. The world record of wall sit is 11 hours. The world record plank is 8 hours. The deadlift is 501 kilos. And I especially love the Eddie Hall story. Physically, he was not ready for deadlift, but he fought his demons, the mental part of that, and he still managed to do it. It's the same for standing in a plank for 8 hours. There's no way to do that physically. You have to shut something off and just go for it, which amazes me. And then we are sitting here and whining and bitching about our workout that lasts 20 minutes. So sometimes I remind myself of those people, and I'm like, then you can push a bit more.
Yeah, I do the same thing, man. I got all kinds of voices and people in my head where I'm like, I'm being a bitch right now because that person just completely blew me out the water. So like, I'm going to think of them instead of myself. I think that puts you in a deeper power of your mind. It allows you to shut that voice in your head that's telling you to be a bitch. Allows you to shut it off.
And David Goggins is a master in this. And I love the story where he was training a businessman, and he asked him to live with him for 30 days. And then Joe Rogan said, "Why is he going to live with him for you for 30 days? Like, what's in it for him?" And David Goggins responded with that, like, "If you're crazy enough to ask me to live for you for 30 days, I'm going to do it." So he came up with all this crazy stuff. For 48 hours, he had to run 4 miles every 4 hours. And that businessman was like, "I have meetings and all that stuff. I don't care. Figure it out. We're going to do it. Every 4 hours, we're going to run 4 miles for 48 hours. Figure it out. Figure out your sleep. Figure out your eat patterns. Figure out your business meetings. I don't care. We're going to do it." And I told someone in my gym that story, and then he tried it out. So without telling me. So he was like, next week, "Yeah, try that out. Like 4 hours or every 4 hours doing a 4 miles." Like, "What, you actually did that?" And he said, "Yeah, it was." I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's cool though.
You're crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. I like crazy people like that, man. So that's cool. Kudos to that guy, man. Hell yeah.
It's a good run. It's a good runner though, but
you know, I remember that story completely. And you know what he did to that dude? I don't know if you remember it, but he got him up at like 4 a.m. or something, and it was like blizzard outside, just dumping. And he's like, "You still got to do your run." So the guy's like, "Okay." He goes and does the run, and then they come back, and there's a lake that's like frozen over. He's like, "Go jump in that before you get gone." I made him go jump in it, dude. He was like, "I'm not jumping in that." He's like, "Yes, you are." I think what he was like, David Goggins is amazing at breaking limitations. That's what he's doing to people. Like, that's really the message behind it. Is like, you're saying you can't do it, but you can. And that's what he's trying to teach you, is like, it's not about the run. It's not about the lake. It's not about any of that. It's about you saying, "I can't do it," when you can. That's what it's about. And that's what I love about Goggins, man. I love that he like could pull that out of you in any situation. You know, quit saying "I can't." That's what's holding you back. You're sabotaging yourself. You got this.
And that's why I like the CrossFit Games this year. Due to the pandemic, there were only 5 people competing in the final CrossFit Games. And they had this run. I don't know how long it was. It was a 25 minute hill run. And after the finish, Matt Frazier had to sprint against someone for the last 200 meters. And then the maker of the CrossFit Games, Dave Castro, he came with a surprise. After the finish, he was like, "Turn around and run the course in reverse." And Matt Frazier like pulled up his middle finger. I was like, "Haha, funny." I was like, "I'm not kidding. We have to do this to complete the event. You have to run it in reverse." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he still won it though. So in that moment, you think you're done with the offend, but you have to turn around and do it again. Like, oh, that Dave Castro's son of a bitch.
I don't even know what to say to that, man. Like, I already know, like, thinking of Matt Frazier just walking in, crossing the finish line. I'm done, completely spent. I gave all my energy, gave it my all. I'm done. Nope. You got to do it again. Oh, man. That's the whole thing with limitations right there. Because he did it, right? And I promise you, he was like, fuck, I can't do this. There's no way I could do this. But he did it. And that's amazing. I think that's the most amazing thing about humans in general is how much we say we can't do something and then we turn around and do it. I think that's the craziest thing about us, man. I do it to myself all the time. I can't do that shit. And then once I finally build up the courage to do it, I do it. What is wrong with me? Like, why do we limit ourselves before we try? We do this with everything in life, to the littlest things, right?
I love that. And there's a Dutch TV show for children. I'm not going to translate it because it's only in Dutch. But this girl said, I've never done it before, so I think I can do it. And I just love that phrase, going in with a positive vibe, not putting yourself into the ground, but lifting yourself up. Like, hey, I've never done it. Let's try it. I think I can do it. And instead of being in that negative mindset of like, I've never done it. I don't want to try it. I'm going to feel, oh, fuck that. Just do it.
Exactly, man. And like that right there, what that'll do is it will at least get you out the seat to try it. And all you're going to find out is if you can or can't. And you may also find out that I might kind of like this and I can't do it now, so I'm going to keep trying until I can get it, or you just do it. Either way, like, you're going to learn something out of it. You will learn nothing if you sit in your seat. Like, get up and just try it. Just try, and like with everything, absolutely everything, just do it all. Like, try all foods, try everything once. So you could at least experience it and you could say I can instead of I can't. It really will give you a deep power in your life. It will liberate your mind. It will make you open-minded. You'll want to try everything after this.
Yeah, for sure. And I also love to stimulate to people that's okay to fail. That's one of the things, no, just kidding. But one of the things I do like about the American culture, when you start a business and you fail, there's no pride lost in failing that business. Like, okay, just try it again and start another business. If you compare it to the Japanese culture, for instance, of course, I'm generalizing a bit, but you see that the suicide rates are higher. Like, once somebody goes bankrupt, all their pride is lost. They don't know what to do. And there's a higher rate of suicide. So it's really good to create this vibe around where it's okay to fail. And I do the same thing in my CrossFit box. I'm a CrossFit coach. We have a lot of lifts that are really technical. And if someone doesn't get it right and you can see it in your face, like, oh shit, I did it wrong. I'm like, it's okay. Yeah. You can make as many mistakes as you want in my class. It doesn't matter as long as you're trying. So to stimulate that energy, I think is essential for learning, but also giving people the feeling that it's okay to not be on a crazy level like an athlete, because the average day people are not going to be there. So that's totally fine.
Yeah. I say, like, get excited when you fail. That's how I do. I'm like, so going right to where you're talking about with these movements, like, because I train all the time. And so I'm always trying to train my body to do new movements. Like, I get excited when I fail. I'm like, okay, I just felt where not to go. So now I got to adjust a little bit this way. You know what I mean? And like, it's something with your shoulders, something with your hips. You're literally figuring it out. So get excited. That's a breakthrough moment when you failed, because you just figured out how not to do it. Let's not do that again. Go on to plan B and then plan C until you get it. And so, like, I usually get excited when I fail, man.
It can be draggy. I understand that. I have been playing the guitar. Sometimes I've been practicing a song for 4 years and then I finally get it. I like to play metal on guitar, like play Slipknot or Metallica or whatever. They are so technical. It's so hard to get that riff done. But I'm just going to keep practicing. If it takes me 10 years, I don't care. And eventually you see, even after all those years, you still accomplish something. Like, you kept failing all those times, but that doesn't matter. If you just feel like it, if you're passionate about it and you're just going to keep trying, it's worth it.
That's the whole thing with learning how to fail, man. It's because, like, I mean, you obviously have learned it from a young age, but that's what it will do. It gives you the ability to know that I got to go through a pretty solid window of time to get good at this. So I'm going to, be in the trenches for a while. I'm going to have to practice a lot. It's going to suck more than it's going to be good, but keep doing it. Eventually, it may be 4 months, it may be 4 years, you're going to get it. you just got to keep doing it, keep hammering away till you do it. Don't give up.
Yeah, and fitness helped me with this mindset of putting up goals, and some you achieve, others you don't. Well, how do you handle that? Do you quit, or are you like, nah, I'm gonna keep going. Like, I'm gonna give myself another 6 months to accomplish this goal instead of throwing it out the window?
Yeah, exactly, man. Actually, fitness did the same thing for me. My father will talk to me about it. He's just like, he'll ask me at times, like, like, how'd you do this or why do you do that? And I always say it's fitness. Fitness did it for me. Fitness woke me up to what it's like to fail and what it's like to, like, work hard for something, and sometimes, like you said, the goal, maybe you don't even get it. Maybe this just isn't the right goal, but like you tried, and it just always transitions into other things, So I totally agree, man. Fitness is it.
Yes, sir. I think, oh shit.
Actually, though,
I think
let me do one thing.
Podcast.
Let me do one thing.
I didn't. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. The reason why I wanted to end it with this, I have this like really crazy meditation, man, and like I wanted to go over it with you because like I cannot put my freaking finger on it. I don't know what happened to me here. So this is gonna get a little wild. Let me see if I could explain this. So I'm in this meditation. This happened 2 days ago. Although for the past 2 weeks, when I do my meditation, I start out in samurai position. I'll count for 6 seconds breathing in and count for 6 seconds breathing out. This changed about 2 weeks ago. I keep going to 8 and I can't get it out of my head. So I'm like, why the hell am I going to the number 8? This will not like leave my head. And I have no clue how I connected these. So bear with me. This is how I kind of made sense of it, dude. So I'm like, the number 3 is super important to me, right? So my younger brother was born in the month of March. That's 3. I was born in the month of June. That's a 6. My younger sister was born in the month of September. That's a 9. So we got 3, 6, 9. These numbers are all very important to me. I never ever like connected this until recently. Why 8? My older sister that passed away, she was born in August. That's 8. And born on the day of 8. So August 8th. And I'm like, why do I keep going to 8? Why do I keep going to 8? Dude, I like really, really believe like she's like talking to me like you're going on the right path. Go. She's like pushing me forward. How weird is that? So it hit me like 2 days ago.
That's crazy, bro.
She's like pushing me forward.
Give me chills.
Yeah, it gives me chills too, dude. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, it hit me hard yesterday and the day before. I'm like, it's my sister pushing me. Because like, why can't I get away from 8? And I'm like, I've always done 6. Strange shit, huh? Like, I don't know, man. Meditation's crazy. Like, it really, really will. I don't know if it brings clarity, but it makes you think different. And to me, I'm just like, I'm so thankful that I've started doing this because like, I feel like I'm kind of communicating with her and I feel like she's like giving me some sort of power to just keep going forward, which, man.
That's really cool, bro. Just keep doing it then.
What do you think of that, man? Like, how crazy is that? I don't know.
It is crazy.
Am I thinking
and
too
it's
much?
hard to explain because, no, I don't know. Maybe, but maybe not. Who it's like, we cannot judge it, right?
Yeah.
I would say if you experience it, that's your truth, and nobody else can judge it from the outside. So you don't have to justify or explain that happening. If you truly believe in that, then that is the reality.
Though, this is what the hardest part for me to wrap my head around is like all these thoughts came to me without thinking. I don't know how to say this. That makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to think about this. I'm not like giving it my energy. It just came to me. How does that happen?
I don't know. Maybe subconscious.
Yeah.
On a deeper level. We are all frequencies around here. So if you hit a certain frequency, we were talking about this before the podcast. I had a French radio on my guitar amplifier. These frequencies travel throughout the earth. That's the same with persons. You know how people say we are on the same wavelength, but they don't mean it in a literal way? I think it is in a literal way, but we don't see it that way. So when two people click, like you and me, for instance, I think there's a frequency that clicks. We have never met each other, but that frequency travels. I believe that. So
yeah, I do too.
It could be when someone dies or it passes away, and maybe that frequency still exists or whatever.
Yeah.
It may sound crazy to people, but we don't know if it's true or not. Like, it could be.
The reason why I go over these numbers in my head too is because like like I said, those threes are important to me. So like, I never realized that my younger brother, my younger sister, and myself are, those were like our birthdays. And I don't really even know if that correlates or has any.
Okay, so we had some technical difficulties. We cut it off, but this meditation subject, we're going to speak about it in the next episode. So stay tuned for podcast number, which one is it, Robert? 8? The next one? So in that one, we'll discuss more about the meditation. If the story about his sister will not be in the video, it will be in the other video, but we'll go over it again. So stay tuned for episode number 8.